this portfolio is gone and it's stable, and it's taken me pretty much as far as it's going to take me. I believe that the market is turning, or will be turning soon. It has to eventually. And there's going to be some serious opportunities out there. All right? So sitting on all these assets and ain't making me a bunch of money, just a decent return, doesn't pay to keep. All right? Let's cash them in, take some profits off the table, pay down a lot of debt, because you know what? Man, when I don't owe the bank a bunch of money, that's a good position to be in.
Why not
Because
just
they
sit
can't
back?
wait to loan me some money. And the values are coming. I just hit the fan. The writing's on the wall. Every saying you can imagine, in my opinion, is there. Okay, I'm seeing loans coming right now due in the probably hundreds of billions, maybe. Definitely in the billions. And everybody's trying to sell their property right now. You know why? Because commercial's not residential. Commercial loans don't go out 30 years. All right? 3, 5, 7, typically. Maybe you go a little further with 10 if you got some AAA Home Depot like I do, or Lowe's that has a long lease on it and they ain't got to worry about. Typically, commercial loans are short time. So that teaser, wonderful, great interest rate we used to have when somebody else was president is no longer there. All right? You're going to have to take today's rates, and the properties can't handle today's rates.
Isn't there a chance, because I thought the same thing, that you're wrong, and that they could lower rates just as quickly as they increase them, and then everyone in commercial real estate could get lucky and kind of get bailed out because interest rates go from 7% back down to 4%, let's just say?
I don't think we're going to see the stupidity anymore of people pushing a button so much. All right? Never did I see the rates in my whole lifetime go up so quick, so much. It's not smart to do that. You're supposed to just, do things in a way where people don't feel pain. All right? Do things in a moderate, conservative way. But they didn't do that because they're not business people. That's the problem with this country. We don't have no business people running it. And if you never ran a business, how the hell you run a country? Because basically a country is just a business with a conscience.
But couldn't you then say if Trump gets elected, he's going to lower interest rates, or at least pressure the Federal Reserve to
I'm
lower
sure it will
interest
go
rates?
that way, whether he does it or not. I mean, I'm sure that the Republicans are always going to want to keep rates low because cheap rates mean growth. People borrow money cheap, they do more shit, they buy more shit, you make more shit. And, people spend more, people are working, and it just seemed like a much better world to me when interest rates are lower. I can go out there and, and borrow. Right now I'm paying more than twice the interest rate I used to pay, maybe 3 times in some specific properties, okay, versus what I could have locked it in at.
Yeah.
So I'm cutting back. Why? Because I'm spending $5 million a year more in interest payments. How'd you like to shell out a $400,000 a month or $500,000 a month extra every month that you normally wouldn't have to, that you'd be stashing away in the bank and putting in tax-free muni bonds at 5% tax-free? That's, Anyway, the point is that, it is what it is, and it's a cycle. Things go up, things go down, people do stupid things, then they correct themselves. There's going to be a major correction in the market. There's tons of loans being sold on the market right now. You can buy loans, but they haven't really discounted them that much. Everything's moving slow, but the shit's going to hit the fan. Okay, let me tell you, I talk to bankers all the time. We were playing the game pretend and extend. You heard that term before?
Yeah, I have.
That's what they've been playing. Mm-hmm. Now that period is over. Now they have moved to pray and delay.
That's it. I knew it started with pray.
So now we're in that phase. What happens after you pray and delay? The shit hits the fan. Because the banks don't want to know. They don't want you to know that the banks only work with the loans they have, correct? Mm-hmm. You're a finance guy.
Yeah.
The banks only are worth on the amount of loans they have. That's what determines the value of a bank. And if the bank has shitty loans and the value ain't worth shit to the bank, the stock goes down the toilet. I lost $1 million on that Silicon Valley thing I told you, the preferred stock. Why? Because I bought it. My broker bought it 3 or 4 years ago. It was fine, and all of a sudden, out of the blue, everybody found out they couldn't keep it quiet anymore. That the loans are bad that they got, and they're not worth the property, the collateral, and now the loan ain't worth shit. And the stock went down the toilet, and the bank went out of business. I got out $1 million. That's what happens. That's the way it works. So if the banks don't hurry up, and right now, let me tell you something. I don't have to worry. There are like, the banks are pretending that you don't have covenants. Believe that? And I've never seen it happen on Wall Street. I'm seeing it on CMBS loans. I'm seeing it on Wall Street money. They're pretending that everything's okay, but it's not. Because if the property has to go to today's interest rate and be reappraised, it can't cash flow at the same debt ratio. It's not going to meet the proper, what's the word?
What, cash flow, debt obligation, whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
So basically, it's not going to praise out anymore at today's interest rate.
Yeah, but couldn't the Federal Reserve do what they did with Silicon Valley Bank? And basically to say, hey, we're going to loan you money. You could pay out your people. Investors get screwed out of it, but none of the customers are affected. Couldn't they do the same thing with the bank and say, hey, for all these loans that come due,
Doesn't matter. Nobody
we
wants to
could
go there.
Just extend
Somebody
it.
gets f***ed. And the
it's
people that
probably
get
gonna
f***ed are the people with the stock.
Or it could be the taxpayers.
And now you're talking the stock market. You know what's going to do to the stock market if banks start closing up?
I don't know if they will. I think the Federal Reserve will want to.
How old were you in
maintain it.
2008?
18.
18?
Yeah.
You remember it, right?
I
You were
do.
a smart young guy.
Yeah.
A lot of banks went belly up. A lot of mergers came about of it, and it
yeah.
became a mess. But it caused opportunity. It's got to happen. It has to happen because that's the only way we get opportunity. All right.
See, I look at what happened in 2020, though,
I get
where
hurt,
they just
but I
threw
also
money at
get
the
paid.
problem.
What?
I look at 2020 where they just threw money at the problem. They just
You can't
they
keep throwing
bought
money
the,
at the
they
problem.
in a way bought
They didn't do
themselves
it
out
that
of the
much. They only
mess.
did it a couple of banks because it just started. And then you know what the they did? They backed the away from the whole situation. They didn't want to keep doing it. You know why? They keep doing it, then it'll become a bigger mess. If they start looking at every bank right now and trying to make that bank look like they should, it'll be a giant disaster. I'm telling you, the banks, it's not that the loans are bad. They're bad
Yeah.
when they have to be paid back. When the money has to be paid back. So what they're doing now is they're just saying, don't pay us back. That's their solution to it right now. They don't care about the loan docs. They don't care about the agreement you have. They're just saying, oh, shit, he's paying us. Let's keep paying and extend it. Okay, but if they have to go to today's rates and get reappraised, it's going to hit the fan.
So
I'm
are
already
they
seeing it.
so they're basically
it.
betting that interest rates are going to come down
They
by
will
the
come down
time they
somewhat.
get, you know.
They'll come down about the fives and stable out. But we got to go through the whole president shit, and we have to go through a bunch of bullshit. And they're going to keep praying and delaying right now until the year is over. In 25, we should see some straighten out with the financial situation. Because sooner or later, people are going to say, I want my money back. You know, can't get your money back right now.
Yeah. So for the properties that you're listed on your website, they seem like they're priced a bit on the high end. Like I'm
They're
looking
priced retail, as if things were great, peachy keen, and everything was a perfect world. That's where you price assets like that at. Why? Because you got to understand, my world is a little different than the regular market. I'm strictly a 1031. There's a circle of people in this country that have utilized 1031s, and they don't want to pay back all the tax they deferred. Okay, they don't want to pay it. So they find themselves in a situation like I did. I sold 100 million or 90-some million of Starwood Capital. All right, I found myself in a situation. It could have been $20, $30 million tax bill on that because my basis is so low because I've been 1031 for so long. You know, if I go out and buy a $10 million building tomorrow, I don't get the basis of a $10 million. I probably get a basis of a $2 million. Okay, because all that tax that I deferred, they don't forget about that shit. The government remembers that shit and your basis goes down. And then if you die, then you get a break. The only way, is to die. Anyway, the retail is safe havens. I went to the Home Depots, I went to the Lowe's, I went to the Walgreens, I went to all the safe haven properties that I knew they're going to get you a decent return. You know, I bought some in the 6 caps, some in the 7 caps. Maybe some of my value added, and I rented up some space, and there's more value in them. And they're maxed out. It's the best you're going to do with them. You know, I got shopping centers, bring in a few million a month, gross. And then there's not a lot of expenses because, you cammed out. You cam back all the expenses. So retail could be a very safe haven if you're in a 1031 and the clock's ticking and you got to hurry up and buy something and you don't want to pay the government. Some guys go out and buy planes. I go out and buy triple nets. Like you heard, I don't want to, your friend Grant Cardone or Kevin and all these guys, they go out, they buy these big fancy planes right before the year is up because they don't want to pay. They get a tax write-off for it. That's fine. That's their thing. They need the planes. Me, I go out and buy a triple net and defer my gains from real estate into that.